This is the first place I've seen where people sing, and everyone just keeps quiet. That word has told us, don't come back again here. We're not interested. But Simon has reminded me that, please excuse me, this is the north. Things change the way you see them there. So you bear with what you see. A good evening, everyone. Are you well? Are you fine? I'm glad to be here again. For those of you who are watching online throughout the world, you're welcome. And as we're here, I want us to kneel down and pray that we may ask the Lord's presence in the time of the living. Our dear loving Father in heaven, in the name of Jesus, we come before your awesome throne. And because we come boldly, knowing that we shall find mercy at your feet. Your children, we have gathered here because we feel we are far away from you and we want you to bring us closer to you. Embrace us and please come and abide in us, and let the angels walk around the passages of these places to keep away everything that should not be here. And let us have a good time to study, and we commit ourselves in your hands to get the understanding that comes from above. Teach us, O Lord, we beseech you, by praying in Jesus' name. In the last lecture, we saw how the children of darkness or the children of evil operate, and they told us they were given the right to rule. They have the mark of Cain or the mark of Anu, and they ruled it, and we saw the descendants of that mindset who are the papacy, and we read their documents and really confirmed that they have the same mindset as Cain had it, as the Assyrians had it, as the Babylonians had it, the Egyptians had it, to the Romans, nothing changed unto people wrong. And everything will be like that, nothing will change. And you know that the problem was Cain did what was right, and what happened? When Cain did what was right, what happened? Abel was killed. So the children of Cain have the mindset of killing those who do what is right. And we saw what they did in Rome. And we saw that the Jesuit order is the champions of popery, and their intention is to destroy Protestantism. Now, I want us to look at this one called the art of war. So let's see, what does this have to do with us? And the lecture is very interesting, and I'm almost nervous to approach it. And let's, I think, start. Okay. What is the art of war? The picture speaks for itself. We are going to see the war. Now, do we all acknowledge that we are in a war? Okay, so when we are in a war, do you have time for nonsense? No, because any mistake you make, you are dead. You have to be alert. You have to be vigilant. For your adversary walking around like a lion, isn't it? Looking for whom to devour. We know that. And in the war, you have to be very, very straight. And you have to remember all the rules that your general gave you. What is this art of war? That is a book that was published, The Art of War, called by a general called Sun Tzu. There he is, Sun Tzu, with his rules of how to fight a war. And in this, he has a sword. This is a statue of him. And according to this book, there's a book. The book was first translated into French language in 1772 by whom? A Jesuit, Jean-Joseph Marie Amiot, the astronomer to the Emperor of China. And a partial translation into English was attempted by British officer Everard Ferguson Calthrop in 1905. The first annotated English language translation was completed and published by Lionel Gauss in 1910. So this book was translated first into French, into French language by a Jesuit, but it is stayed in Chinese until 1772. Why the date? That's very important. Notice it. Why the date 1772? And why is it that the Jesuit who translates the book and he was the astronomer to the Emperor of China. Now listen carefully. He's the what? To the Emperor of what? Do you see them that even in China, they are the astronomers to the emperors? They have to go everywhere and infiltrate every nation and be closer to them. Now, according to Malachi Martin, who wrote the book, The Jesuits, he disappeared from the face of the earth miraculously. We don't know. His death was a very big disappointment. But he said, because he was an insider, he said in his book, The Jesuits, he said that if a Jesuit writes a book, it is in essence the Jesuit general who sanctions it in view of the oath of obedience. Question, what was the oath of obedience? They swear to, first of all, to be a corpse and have no will of their own, but to implicitly obey all the what? All the rules the superiors give them. So can a Jesuit write a book? Hello? The oath says to have no will or opinion of my own, but to implicitly obey my superior. So can a Jesuit of any rank write a book? No. Who writes a book? The general. So the Jesuit has no will of his own. He can write nothing, but whatever he writes must be the will of who? The general. Are you getting the point? Hello? Does he have the will of his own? Can he hesitate or murmur? No. So if a Jesuit writes a book, it is not him writing, but his what? His general. So who might have written the book? the general. Though it's a general to translate it great, but it must be a sanction, must have been sanctioned by his general to translate it and publish it, and it is required of him to translate it. Are we there at that point? Hello? Are we there? Let's go. So we know it's not him who writes it, but the general. So what was the general trying to tell us, and why 1772? What is behind, what is in this book? Now, those of you, how many of you have ever read that book? Now, the book, okay, one of them was written. Now, there are scripts, in fact, in China. In China, it's compulsory reading. And this book is compulsory reading to the military. Of every general must read the book, The Art of War. But is this a religion? Is this a political book, a military book, or a religious book? What does this book have to do? There. Now, let's go briefly through the book. Let's first know the history of the book, such that we know exactly what we're talking about. In this book, do you see that picture over there? Do you see that? Hello? Okay. Now, in this book, this is what happened in the book. The reason why the book was written, this is what it's all about, the history of it. There was a king or the emperor of a kingdom called Wu. And the emperor was called Heru. Heru had so many enemies in his time, and he had failed to put all his kingdom together, and so he was troubled. Then one day, he came across a general, and that general was called Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu told Heru that I can train your forces, and they can beat any force in the world, no matter how big it can be. Then the emperor said, are you sure you can do that? He said, yes. It doesn't matter the number. Even if I have 20, I can beat 10,000. And the emperor was fascinated and said, I think I should try that. So I'm not sure what you're going to do, but if you want me to give you to train my army, I'll give you one condition. If you can train my concubine wives in one day and make them a very good submissive force, then I'll make you my general. That's the condition Sun Tzu gave. I mean, the emperor gave to Sun Tzu. So Sun Tzu, the general, said, I will also do it on one condition, that you give me absolute authority. So the emperor thought about it and said, okay, fine, you have absolute authority. And then the emperor, Sun Tzu, went and found the concubine wives. The king had 140 of them. Are you following me? Yeah. And gathered them together and told them, excuse me, we are going to train. You are going to become a force. Imagine telling the wives of the emperor. And all of them laughing and giggling, looking at a madman. He told them, you see them there? He lined them up. There is Sun Tzu. So he chose two of the king's favorite wives and put them in front and said, you are going to be the leaders, and then lined up the rest in ranks, and then chose only two, the king's favorite wives, the one he loves most, and put them in front. And said, I'm going to command you, but I'm not going to command you using my words. In China, the Chinese design, they don't speak, they use drums. Are you there? So I'm not going to speak to you directly, but I'll use a drum. And then he said, when a drum goes once, boom, you all turn smartly to the left. And if the drum goes, gum, gum, you all turn smartly to the right. And if the drum goes bam, 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 you all turn round about. That is how the training is going to start elementarily. Have you understood? All of them laughing and giggling. Yes. So they said, okay, let's start. Let's try. The drum went bam, and everyone turned whatever each way. And twice and 3 times there was chaos. And Susu said, excuse me, ladies, it seems you never understood me. Let me repeat the order. He repeated and explained and explained and explained over and over. And then he said, have you understood? And they said, yes. Said, okay, let's try. Then the drum went once, boom, and all of them turned wherever it went. Then Susu said, excuse me, ladies, is there anyone in this unit who does not understand the order? And they said, we understand completely. Then Susu said, then what we have is a matter of insubordination. And that is high treason to the commander of the unit, and the punishment is death. So he said, you two, who are the two? The king's favorite wives, come here, you are going to be executed. And they ran to the king and they told him, please, the man has gone mad, he's going to execute your wives, your favorite wives. And the emperor said, stop, you are not allowed to kill my wives. And so he answered and told him, excuse me, I have absolute authority. And got his sword and chopped off their 2 heads. Blood flowed down. Then he said, remove them. They held the bodies, they put aside and said, you and you come here. You are going to take their places. Now, let me repeat the order. If the drum goes once, what do you do? And if the drum goes twice? If the drum goes thrice? Let's try it. Let's try. Yes. No laughing, no giggling. And the drum went once. What do you think happened? It was the smartest left turn I've ever seen in the middle. And the drum went twice and they turned barrel, and it was so nice. So within one day, Susu had proved himself worthy to train the what? Do you remember the condition? If you can train my concubine wives in one day, and they become a very submissive force, I'll make him my general. So did he succeed? Yes. But at what expense? And the death of the king is what? Favorite wives. So the king was disappointed with Sun Tzu and banned Sun Tzu. And the enemies came more and more and more, and the emperor could not take it anymore and called Sun Tzu and said, please, I capitulate. Please come and be my general. And the general said, side condition? What are the side conditions? You agree? The emperor said, yes, as long as I get my kingdom back. So the emperor said, Sun Tzu said, fine. And Sun Tzu went and trained the forces, and the emperor gave, and the Sun Tzu drove all the enemies out of China, and the king gained back his empire. Are you following? Now, this book was written by what? And it is the general. That is, it must be the general telling us. And the book was translated in 1772. So if it was translated in 1772, then it must have been written a little earlier, isn't it? Hello? Yes. Is it possible that they knew exactly what was going to happen? Now let's get the picture and the meaning of the thing. Of course, the kingdom never existed. This is Chinese mythology. But what are they trying to tell us? Who is the kingdom of the papers? And the emperor is the pope. Because it's the only one who had enemies in the Dark Ages. And the general is none other than the Jesuit general, Sun Tzu. That means they are trying to tell us what really happened between the Jesuit order and the papacy. And if the book was published in 1772, this is when the burning of the Jesuit order took place. So they are trying to explain to us what really happened when the order was burned. So in other words, the Jesuits came to Rome, and Rome had a lot of enemies, and the Jesuits came, and the emperor, the Pope, asked, who can help me destroy all the Protestants out of my land? And the Jesuits said, we can. The Jesuits said, we can. How? Conditions, absolute authority. Question, the Pope and the Black Pope, who has more power? What? Because I mean, the emperor could not stop the general from killing his wives, isn't it? So who has more power? The general. Are we together? Are we together? Okay. Now, where did the general start from in order to make the women the submissive? So who are the women here? It is all the units or all of the parties or the secret societies in Rome. Those are the women. And she started by killing the king's most favorite. Then all of them can gain fear. So when they killed in Rome, the executioners or the inquisitors were none other than the Jesuits themselves. They killed everyone who would not surrender absolutely to the Pope. And everyone was afraid. Now, where I come from, they say, if you kill one of your own, what happens to those who are not yours? Hello? If a teacher, for example, a teacher in the class, beats his own child badly than any other child, what happens to the others? They will be very afraid, and they will do what is right if they see the other one. Have you got in the mindset? Are you following me? Yes. So the Jesuits, what they did is to first execute everyone. The Inquisition in Italy, in Rome, was horrendous and dealt with all those who would not listen absolutely to the Pope. And that's what they did. Another thing is, when the popes, when they killed them, who did they gain or did they have anything to see? Okay, let's say it this way. After they killed the wives, the perfect wives of the king, the other people were so afraid to Rome, to the Jesuits, that even when the Pope said, I am going to kill you, they have no will or opinion of their own, but to accept. Even if you see it black and the Pope says it is white, you better believe it's black because it will what? Chop off your head. Do you understand? That is why in the Catholic Church, you can, when the priest says, I give you a blessing from above, you do not have to say it is not so. Because if you do, then you are insubordinate, and what next? Hello? That's all. If you have to come, if the drum beats worse, no matter, you don't have to think why left, just stand or you will die. Are you getting the point? Is that tyranny? Hello, is that tyranny? Isn't that what Nimrod did? Isn't that what all these kings are doing in Babylon? So is that the same mindset? Now, why in 1772? In 1772 is when the Jesuit order was banned. And the conflict took place in 1775, as we're going to see. Therefore, it means that the Jesuit order is trying to tell us in this book, what did they do in order? What happened in that burning? What would happen in the burn? Did they really burn them? No. Now, did the emperor burn Susu? Hey. He burned him. But did he capitulate? He said, okay, come back, didn't it? So are they trying to say that it was intended? Hello? They intended it. So is it possible that this was a design to take them underground, and what when the surface knows they are dead? Because the stone is told before they could even burn them. So did they know what they're going to do? With that background, are you all with me now? Now, are you following? Now let's go and see what will happen. These are the rules that Susu set in order to win the war and drive all enemies of Rome out of Rome. Who are the enemies? Excuse me. We read in the oath. Who are they? Heretics, Protestants, isn't it? Anyone who, and what was heresy according to them? Anyone who has any doctrine or thinking that goes against the Roman Catholic one is heresy. Excuse me, who was the first heretic to Rome? Jesus Christ. Did he die? In fact, the first one was John the Baptist. Was John the Baptist executed? Did he go against the king of Rome? That was Herod. So let's see. One, all warfare is based on deception. This is the laying plan. How do you lay plan? All warfare is based on deception. Who was the prince of deception in the Bible? Who is he? The devil. So is this system devilic or not? Okay. Hence, when we go to attack, we must seem unable. When using that process, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When we far, we must make the enemy believe we are near. Question. Today, does Rome seem near or far? Hello. Today, does Rome seem to be near or far? Far. So what does that tell you? Are we together? So they are very near, but they have to make the enemy think they are very well. Are you with me? So every time we see Rome trying to withdraw, as if it's withdrawing its forces, it is Babylon, it's nearer than you can ever imagine. Because that's a principle of deception. It's a principle. It's an art of war. It's the way you wage a war. Today we are enjoying the peace, saying we are fine. Rome is closer and nearer than you can ever imagine. How are they? It entice the enemy, paying disorder and crashing. If he's taking his ease, give him no rest. Attack him where he is unprepared, appear where you are not expecting. So, do you think Rome will simply come and tell us, please, next week we are announcing the Sunday law? Hello? The Pope will announce in America, excuse me, the Inquisition is beginning next year. They come out. They must Attack him where he is what? Unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. That's why Jesus told us, be what? On guard. Watch. Watch. Now, let us, a watchman, he watches as he does it. Is that how a watchman puts it? Why did Jesus use the word watch? Remember, how many of you have ever done, have ever been watchmen? There, we have one there. Okay. Okay, we must have been there. Now, when you watch, what happens? Okay, how many have ever watched with a movie or how many have ever watched? Okay, if you are watching, you watch like this. What happens? You watch with your eyes open. And if you miss anything, what happens? You can even rewind to be so that you don't miss anything. So when Christ tells us to watch, this is not a joke, because the enemy is faster than you can ever imagine. We have to walk. He appears and where he's not expected. So you have to watch. Now, the general who wins the battle makes many calculations in his temple. The battle falls. Excuse me. A general. Why does he make his calculation? Is this a normal general? Can this be a spiritual general? This is a general of a spiritual, because he does it in the temple. Do you know that when the soldiers of America are going on battle, they are conducted in a chapel by the cardinal and prays for them and sends them on a crusade? Whether they're going to Russia, whether they're going to Afghanistan, whether they're going anywhere, it is the priest who sanctions it and prays for them and tells them, I send you on a crusade. So when they are going to America, when they are going to Afghanistan, what are they going to? A crusade. A crusade is a battlefield for politics. Hello? No, it is a what? A religious one. It's a crusade. It's a religious one. So now, okay, let's see. Hence, waging war. How do we wage war? Hence, a wise general makes a point of further attacking on the enemy. One cartload of the enemy's provision is equivalent to 20 of one's own. So when he has a big one, you have a small one. And likewise, a single pickle of his provender is equivalent to 20 from one's own store. So you make 20 against many. So you have a small one, but can manage to beat very many. Now, in order to kill the enemy, our men must be what? Roused to anger. Okay, how do you arouse men to anger? Are you sure? What if you take away everything they have? What if you increase the prices of fuel? What will they do? They will walk to what? Striking. Is that what you want? Yes or no? Is that what you want? Exactly. You want them to arouse to anger. The more angry they become, the better for you. So do anything that can make them angry, then they are at your disposal. It's an army ready for you to use. Because when you're angry, do you think? Hello? When you're angry, do you think? No. So then you can order them and they can do whatever you want. So You can increase the prices, they get angry, they shout, they burn things, they destroy, they loot. It is for your advantage. The more angry they get, the better. That's why I tell you, we are not supposed to engage in any of this, because whatever side you choose, the enemy is interested in it. He wants it. Okay. That there may be advantage from defeating the enemy, they must have their reward. So you arouse them to anger, they own advantage from the enemy, and even you can convert them to your own enemies, your own use. In all, then object to be victory, not blame the what? Other than that, they don't have time for lengthy campaigns. All this gibberish stuff we have. They don't. Why? Because everything is costly. It may be known that the leader or armies in the arbiter of the people's faith, the man on whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. So it depends on the leader. The leader is what matters. That's why today, once they get to the leaders, what happens? They have finished the country. That's why Ellen White talks in the Great Controversy, tells us, page 595, paragraph 1, tells us that the opinions of landmen, the deductions of science, the decisions of ecclesiastical councils, however numerous and discordant it could be, the voice of the majority, none of these should be used as evidence for or against any religious faith. Before accepting any doctrine or reform, we must demand, as thus says the Lord. And he continues and tells us that Satan is attracting men, instead of looking at God, to their fellow men. And he leads many to look at bishops, pastors, professors of theology as their guides, instead of searching the scriptures for their own. And by controlling the minds of these men, he can control them, the masses. Are you following me? Is that a warning from Spirit of Prophecy? Are we seeing it here? The leader is important. Attack by strategy. Now the general, let's come here. The general is a bulwark of the state. If the bulwark is complete at all points, the state will be strong. If the bulwark is defective, the state will be weak. So, which edges? If the general is the bulwark and must be strong for Catholicism to be strong, that means the Jesuit order must have all authority in order for the papacy to have authority. That's why we have both Jesuits as black and white flag. Thus we may know that there are 5 essentials for victory. 1, he will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. That's why Catholicism keeps quiet today. Why? They know when to fight. They are waiting. For them, they speak whatever you want. They're quiet. They know when. And we are being told by the Bible and the Spirit of Prophecy that we have no time. It is time to send the message. This is our time. If you don't use it, there's no other time. For them, they know their time. We don't know. He will win. Who knows how to have the great Syria and bigger process? He will win which army that made. This one I like most. He will win who prepared himself, waits to take the enemy and prepare. Question. Did you know that Rome, does the devil read the Bible? Does the devil read the Bible? The most people who know the Bible in even 7 languages are priests. They know the Bible in very many languages. For you, you cannot even recite some verses in every chapter. How can you fight with someone who knows your weapon more than you know it? There's this one. Who has military capacity and is not interfered with by the sovereign? Question. Can the Pope command the general anything? Hello? No. Why? Because he wins. He will win. Who has military capacity and is not win by the sovereign. So it means that when the general says to send contraception to the world, can the Pope say don't? If the general says it's time to vaccinate the entire world, the Pope cannot contradict that. But on the surface, the Pope can come up and say, please, contraception is from the evil one. Abortion is from the evil one. But underground, the Jesuits are giving out contraception to schools. Abortion is wrong. It is from the devil, but he's telling the scientists it is the person is right to abort. 2 orders coming from the same point. So they will always do what the Jesuits will always do what is bad or evil. It doesn't matter because who benefits? The emperor. Because whatever the general is doing is for the good of the emperor. I follow you. Okay. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands. But the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Provides the opportunity. The enemy himself. Do you know that we are providing Rome the opportunity in everything we do? A story was told of a man who had a house. And the house was for his parents. He decided to sell the house so that he can get some money and buy the village and start a new life, but just get some more money to run his life. So he called a man who was going to buy his house. And they sat down and they agreed the fares and everything, the money, and they said, fine. They waited for the day. Before they signed, the man who was selling the house said, excuse me, I have a problem. This house belongs to my family. I want you to give me only 1 brick on this house, that it may help me remember my family. Every time I come and see it, I will remember that this is where I grew from. Please give me 1 brick on this house. Now the man said, oh, 1 brick, only that's it. I have thousands of bricks on the building. What only 1 brick? Okay, choose 1 brick. And the man said, I will not come inside. Let me get the one at the very opening there, at the beginning there, just the first brick there. And he chose one on these pillars, chose one of them. I said, this is the one I want. And the man said, fine. So they signed. And the conditions were, this is his brick. It reminds him of his family. He has the right to do whatever he wants with this brick. And they signed. They paid him the money, went and bought somewhere, and stayed there. She just even rented. 3 years later, the man comes back, comes to the brick with a nail and a hammer. And the hammer has the nail, bam, 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 to his brick. We say, what is he doing? Said, I am on my break, please. I am working on my break. Said, okay. It's time. Then 3 weeks later, the man comes back with a sack and with something in it and hangs it on the nail on the bridge. 2 days later, they noticed that it was a dead dog. And it started smelling. And he positioned it so well that it was in the front that when the wind could blow all the smell, it could just come in. So, and the maggot started growing all over. And they said, please, this man is a witch. What is he doing to us? They went to court. And the man said, excuse me, it was signed here. I have my dead dog upon my grave. It is my grave. And the court said, the man is right. He did it twice. And this man left the house. He could not manage, he left the house, and the man came back to his house. You understand the strategy? How much did it take for this man to gain the house? One thing. Only one he gained. Do you know that this is the same problem that if we ever give one brick to the devil, he can regain this small house. Just give him one. So the enemy say, if you give them one brick, when the church is uniting with the state in matters of marriage, that one brick they will use it. And you find the pastor preaching and says, by the authority given to me by the church and the government, he puts the two together. Can you imagine the church and the state? And he has no problem with it. By the authority given to me by the church and by the state. Church and state, as one servant serving both. One brick. So if we give wrong only one, it is for his advantage. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hand. We have read this. What the ancients called a clever fight is one who not only wins, but excels in winning with ease. So don't fight so much, win with ease. Take your time, plan so much, win with ease. Hence, his victories bring good night and reputation for wisdom, no credit for courage. Okay. Energy. There are very many here you read. Then, but I want to ask, weak points and strong. Whosoever is first in the field and waits for the enemy and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whosoever is second in the field and has to hasten the battle will arrive exhausted. Now, what was the battlefield in 1772? According to the Bible, the beast was already existing, isn't it? Are we together? The beast out of the sea. What was expected next? The beast out of the earth. So the beast out of the earth was supposed to come. So where is the battlefield going to be? In the beast out of the earth. So what do you do as a wise general? You go there first before the enemy. So they were the first to go to America. As you're going to see, they sent sailors there as explorers or finding the sea route to India or whatever they wanted, but they knew. And they settled there and became normal people. They named the lands Maryland and did this. They were very clever, but they went there first. And they waited for the enemy to come. So who was first for the fight? Hello? So does Rome read the Bible? Do they know that the peace would arise from America? They knew that America would be the second peace. They knew it very well from there. So they go there before and wait for the coming of the enemy. We are going to see that. Matter imposes his will on the enemy, but does not to be imposed on him. Is that right? Do you have anything Adventist in Catholicism? Hello? Not even a coin. But how many Catholic things are in Adventism? Unimaginable. So who is imposing his will on the other? Hello? They know very well that the Greek part imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy to oppose the will of him. So nothing from Adventism can ever be in Catholicism. That's not even annoying. But how many Catholic things? How much has the Catholic Church ever asked for Adventists? Anything? Money, land, support? None. But how much do we always go to them? That even in times like this, we have to go. Let me read that one. Let me read that one. Because I was going to break the code. But I think I should say it that we know it from next time. That in times to come, please, we should have our own places, even though we should hold camp meeting. Have you understood what I was trying to say? I think even if I stop there. Nothing. They can never ask from us anything, but we have to go even and beg them to please help us and give us some of their things to use. Only one act of subtlety and secrecy. So do not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but your methods be regulated by infinite variety of circumstances. So they keep on, nothing changes but changing circumstances. Keep changing circumstances and they will think things are different. They are the same. Like today. How many? Today we have very many vehicles. The engine is still the same, but the body is changing. Very many vehicles you see. The body is still the same, only the shape is changing. And people think, oh, this is a new car. That's why they will tell you that the engine is, they tell you that car is model 2004. But the car is brand new. No, it's the engine that is very old. The body is new. So you can't buy a new car. And you say, wow, it's brand new. They give you even a number, even the phone. What changes is the outside, but the inside remains the same. So even here, the tactics they're using, they can be the very old ones, but in new shape. We have to keep our eyes open. We think Rome will ever come up with the old way. Oh, the man has experienced 6,000 years kept together, and he can come to you with all these documents you have. How much knowledge do you have to think he will just come to you and say, please, I'm going to tempt you like I tempted David or Joseph? No. Things are changing. Maneuvering. Maneuvering. The general receives his commands from the sovereign. In the war, to say in the war, the general receives his commands from the sovereign. Let every plan be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like thunderbolt. There are roads which must not be followed, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. Not everything that comes. Okay. Not everything that comes from the sovereign that is listened to. I will show you in the next lecture that when the cardinal himself says, a bishop says, the Pope that asked him, the Pope said that Martin Luther did not err in the doctrine of justification by faith alone through grace, and through grace by faith alone. And the man says, we have the word, only the word of the Council of Trent. And the Council of Trent, the teachings of the Council of Trent are infallible, they are ex cathedra. But the comments of the Pope are not ex cathedra. So the Pope can say whatever he wants. But the foot soldiers know that that's just conspiracy. It has nothing to do with us. Let's keep the plan. So the Pope can say this, he can call the case, he can do this, whatever he can do. They don't care, they know the plan. Let me go to this one. The use of spies. Hence, the use of spies, of whom there are 5 classes: local spies, inward spies, converted spies, doomed spies, surviving spies. Let's see each of them. When these 5 kinds of spies are all at work, none can discover the secret system. This is called divine manipulation of the threads. Can you imagine? Which divinity is that? What divine power do they claim to have? Hello? The one that was given to Cain. If Cain shall be avenged, if anyone should slay Cain, Cain can slay him 7-fold. So they have that divine right given to them by God to rule over the children of darkness, and they will use it to do all the deception. It is the sovereign most special power. Having local spies, let's look at them, means employing the services of the inhabitants of a district. So there is a district headquarters, and they bring services, and they leave their people working there. They are spies. They can give you money for it or whatever, but they will people will keep working around as nurses or doctors or even good constructors of buildings, but they're spies with services. Having inward spies, making use of officials of the enemy. How many of Protestants today, how many of even Adventist leaders are being used as spies? Unbelievable. Where do they go for training? In theological colleges. And what is theology? The study of God. Question: can you get a degree in the study of God? Help me out. You get a degree in theology, and the word theos means God, theology, which means the study of God. Can you get a PhD in God? Question: if they are there and they come with power, and when they stand there and say, I have told you this is what is right, this is the only Bible that is right, those ones who are reading this is wrong, everyone follows. What have they done? It's a spy. Having converted spies, getting hold of the enemy's spy and using them for our own purposes. Do you know there are many people, even within our ranks, that are teaching prophecy, but diverting it in a different direction? They will say that teaching prophecy, but they will not talk about this. They will pretend to say things, then they divert things. These are converted spies. They have been converted. Doomed spies. These are very interesting. doing certain things openly for purposes of what? Deception, and allowing our spies to know of them and report them to the enemy. How does this work? Now, let me use, if Okello, Brother Okello knows me, that's I'm a very bad guy, and he cannot allow me to go to his house. What do I do? I'm trying to explain what it means. What I do, I will come with Brother Sammy, and I do something. We are the same, very the same. The mindset is the same. We are with the same agenda, but I will come and have Sammy stay there. I come here and I will do something in his house that is very bad, and Sammy will report. I know who did it. Who is it? It was William. And since Okello hates me, Okello will say, yes, it must be him. And I will be taken and executed. What does that do between Okello and Sammy? They become friends. Do you understand? They become friends. Question: if we come from the same order, has our order gained Okello? Exactly. Have you gotten how it works? Because there was no other way. And notice they even acted in the movies. I do something, you kill me, the other ones say, please go there. And Okello would always love him. Why? Because he has been able to tell him who was the enemy, and I did it intentionally, such that I can be hated and the other love, but we have the same mindset. So how many of the things of wrong are we today bringing within our ranks? And we say, it's fine. So in that point, I have worked as a dominant. Have you understood? Surviving spies, finally, are those who bring back news from the enemy's camp. Okay. I've finished doing the introduction. Now the body. This is the general who was in 1772, just prior to the founding of the book and the banning of the Jesuit order. His name was Lorenzo Ricci. Lorenzo Ricci was the general in that time, and Lorenzo Ricci was an Italian Jesuit born in Florence. He had elected the 18th Superior General of the Church of Jesus. He was also the last before the suppression of the Jesuit in 1773. So you see, just to the suppression. He gave his philosophical and theology at Roman College of Rome, and he meant to be a professor of sacred sciences and specialized in theology. Along with teaching, he was also spiritual guide of many other religions at the Collegio Romano, the Roman College. In fact, this quite an national spiritual work, in particular giving the spiritual studies of Ignatius Loyola. So this was the mindset. August 1st, 1703, died in 1775. Now I want you to first note that died. What? 1775. Died. Listen carefully. There is a way Rome gives its stars. Dying may mean putting in a coffin and burying you when you are not in the coffin. Does it make sense? Yes. It can mean you have been expelled from here and you are dead to us. Do you understand it? You can be dead to a person, but he sees you every day, but you are dead. Even you disappearing and no one sees you again, but you are there, it's still there. Have you understood? Let's go to this book by Esther Pesota, Rulers of Evil. She talks about the death and resurrection of who?
Lorenzo Ricci.
Lorenzo Ricci, the general. He died and resurrected. That's interesting. Now, did he really die? Let's see. If the society of Jesus could conquer, those believing they could not its superior general do the same? When Lorenzo Ricci died in his cell at Castel San Angelo, November 24, 1975, what if his death was no more physical than the supposed establishment of his army? What if the guy didn't die? But the establishment of his army is what they call his death. That Ricky, who secretly commanded the execution, were known to die and resurrect at the threshold of important endeavor. So the executions were, he was a commander, and the executions were known that they can die and go. No one knows where they are, but when they are needed, they can resurrect and the execution go on. So what is sentenced to it, the general did not die, but was removed, goes away, is not seen anywhere. But when he has gone for a mission, why is wanted? Even you see, as we shall see, that the mouthpiece of the Jesuits is Hollywood. Do you know how many movies are acted today when someone is proclaimed dead, but is alive somewhere, put in a coffin, people come and they cry and they bury, but the man is very much alive somewhere and doing secret mission. That's what they call a death to them. They even change your IDs. They give you a new ID. They change everything, the thumbprint, and you are dead. But you are living. During the fall of 1775, Congress authorized a committee made up of Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Reed, Benjamin Harrison, and George Washington to consider and recommend a design for a first United colonial flag. Here we go to America. The focus now is on America, the battleground. What if you kill the general in Europe? He's dead, but he's on a mission in America. And who has gone to America? No one knows there. But the